Hey guys, Assalamualaikum. Hope you're all okay. So it's been so long since I've done a video or even a live. It's literally been since last year. So
You've literally been in lockdown.
I know, lockdown and then going back to school and doing that whole thing again. But Alhamdulillah, I've been okay. My family have been safe from Corona and stuff. I hope you guys are okay with that. So I did post a few weeks ago that I would be doing a live with my mum.
We never got around to it.
Yeah, we never got around to it, so we're going to be doing it today. So
You've had lots of work at home, haven't you?
yeah, teams in school, it's just a lot. So that would do it today. So 3 things she's learnt from me and 3 things I've learnt from my mum. So who wants to go first?
Who wants to go first?
I'll go first. I've forgotten.
You've forgotten. She's got a little journal, bullet journal, and she's written it in there, so I think she wants to use that.
Okay, right. So my first one is to be a good Muslim. Okay. So you've helped me since I was little to pray my salahs, to fast, and to dress properly, to have good manners, and from right and wrong in Islam, and to read Quran and know Islamic studies and stuff like that.
Do you think that, was there any times that you found it hard, like for young people, if for other children out there, if their parents really valued their deen, what would you give advice to? Like, how would you want other parents to teach their children so that they get those things?
So a lot, in this day and age, a lot of people, like, Islam is starting to like fade away sort of thing. And so, girls now wear their hijab like not properly. We won't pray our salahs anymore. So now kids that go to school, they learn different things there. And they will learn different things there, and they will if, for example, if someone, like in my old school, me and my sister were the only ones who used to wear hijab, and now people might think like, oh, why should I wear hijab if nobody else is wearing it, or why should I do Quran if nobody else is doing it? But you have to teach your child that, it's important and it's your deen, and you can't, they are not doing it, but you, at the end of the day, you will, when you grow up, you will realise that, your parents have taught you how to be a good Muslim. And on the day of judgment, if your parents don't teach you, be like, my mum and my dad didn't teach me. But they will have tried, and you would have rejected them or something. So you have to go slowly with your child, because they won't understand as well, and it can be hard. Like, I have more English friends than Islamic friends, Muslim friends, and I do have Muslim friends, but they're not practicing. They don't wear hijab, they don't pray, but they are Muslim. But it's different, because I'm like the only sort of like practicing Muslim in my class.
Do you feel that's challenging?
No, no, I don't feel it, because I have been to an Islamic schools a lot, and my mum has taught me that.
So how do you think other people can? Because I think there is a lot of pressure.
There is.
Especially if you're out there and other people aren't doing it.
Yeah, like
so
you're
how do
the
you
only
keep
one.
yourself strong then? What do you think's inside you?
Because I know it's my deen, and at the end of the day, Allah will be pleased with me, and I'm doing what the Prophet Muhammad ﷺ said, and in the Quran, and all the prophets said, and and it will be hard for a lot of kids to follow their deen, because you see people dressing on social media, and you see people outside, and people will have phones, and you might feel like, oh, why don't I have one? Or
so what would stop you falling into that peer pressure? So if there was another young girl, what do you think that drives you to say, look, I know myself, I know who I am? That's what you're saying, isn't it? Because I know my values.
Yes.
So because you said something really important before. You said you can't just tell, and one thing that's really important is we can't wait till they're 8 or 9 or
because
even 10 or 12.
They won't.
And then one day you wake them up and say, oh, you've got to pray for Fajr.
But they'll be very confused, like, you've not taught me when I was younger, and now you're telling me. It's like...
Yeah, you've got to start at a very young age, where it was, I remember with you guys, it was, I'd pray Salah and they'd just pray with me, or afterwards we'd do tasbih, and I'd say, like, let me read your fingers. And it was that connection, first of all. It's not about, the strictness, or God's going to throw you into the fire of hell. We don't want to do it.
You have to talk to them in order to have to explain it to them. If you go and tell them to just pray or go and fast,
they don't understand
why
there's no connection to it. It's kind of a commandment, and we kind of think as parents that our children should just listen to us. But why should they just listen? Like, what authority? We might think we have authority by the fact that they're our children, but you've got to build that bond with them. You've got to build those, what we call value systems. And once those values are strong and the identity is strong, when she goes to, like she's saying, a mixed school, a girls' school, and there's a variety of people there.
Yeah.
But to be able to say, I accept those people, that's how they are. She's got friends, they're great friends of hers, but that doesn't mean I have to change who I am.
Yeah.
In order to fit in.
Yeah, they have to accept me and I have to accept them. And we don't have to change for somebody else. Even if there's a whole group or a whole school or a whole world, to be honest. You be yourself, you be a good Muslim, you be who you are. Don't let people, influence you. You have to listen to your parents, and it is hard. Like last summer, it was because it was so hot, and I wanted to wear, what you normally wear, and my mum and dad started to talk to me, saying that we need to start like wearing long dresses or loose trousers and a long shirt. And when I was young, I didn't really do that, but now I do, and I'm glad that they told me to do that. Otherwise, I wouldn't be here going out today wearing tight jeans. Now I'm going in loose trousers or a dress or my burqa, and I'm glad that they told me that.
And that's not because of us.
It's the Quran
got into
saying,
the world, and you're going to make this, and I'm not always going to be there.
I know.
So you could go out and wear whatever you wanted, and that would be your life.
But I chose to listen to my parents, because they will get rewarded at the end of the day when they go, and I will get rewarded as well, and I can teach my kids. And soon I am going to be old. I'm already 12. And
my shout, do I feel?
4 years I'll be finishing high school. But it is gonna, now it is getting harder and harder. Watching people on social media,
social
the outside. Social media is the most, I'd say. Outside, it's
they set the standard of beauty for you.
Yeah, you see
and
on models,
you're so
you
inadequate.
see magazines. I know, you just like, why shouldn't I be like that? And there's a lot of
you want to follow them, especially at that age.
I know, like at this age, especially, you're just like.
At your age, Maisha, adults do it. They see something and they think,
I wish
I'm
I
supposed
had
to be like that.
Yeah.
But it's that idea of who am I and who do I choose to be versus that's the choice that they've made, and that's if they want to make that choice. But then you have to have a compass within you.
Yes.
And that compass, that what we're talking about here, is that foundation that you build, the identity that you build within the children, so that they do have a sense of like, this is my identity, this is where I belong, these are my values.
And this is my religion, and you have to know that.
And where she can go in and say that I'm a Muslim and this is how I am.
And you have to learn how to stand up for yourself.
And that's not just in the realm of Islam. And I'll tell you, even outside of Islam, because of the counselling work I do, people find it hard to fit in. Sometimes people get married and they don't fit into other Muslim families. Sometimes it's at workplaces.
Yeah.
And that struggle to fit in still comes back to your identity. So you don't want to be changing just so somebody accepts you.
Yeah,
if
you have
know
to
who
just,
you are, from the beginning, you will attract friends and tribes who, are aligned to you, because you know who you are. Mm-hmm. Otherwise, when you're fake and you compromise, you find people who compromise as well.
I know, it's sort of like if you're having a test, maths test, and you cheat, people will think that you know those answers, you are like that, but actually no, I said something wrong. Wait.
No, you never
but
wrong.
It's sort of like a maths test where you will take the test, you will cheat, and then they think that that's who you are. You know the answers, you're clever, but you're not.
Really
you are. You need some help.
And you didn't ask for the help.
I know.
And you cheated yourself. So in that relationship, you're kind of cheating yourself.
I know,
aren't
and
you?
people will start to like you because you know maths.
Yeah, but you don't really, and you're with other people who also probably pretend.
I know, and you're putting a mask on, you're faking it, but I attracted my friends by being myself. myself. And at first I was so nervous starting high school, like
Oh,
nobody's
you
gonna
were.
like me, because in my past primary schools it was a lot of work, but to go to high school is an even bigger step, and I'm glad that I did my first day and stuff.
Do you remember how nervous? Oh my
I
god!
know, I was gonna cry.
We
I
had
was
to
just like,
walk
I
to
don't
the
want to do
gate.
it.
Can I go now? I said, no, don't go yet. No, okay. It was really...
But it was very nerve-wracking for me, but I'm glad that I was myself to attract so many friends,
got
and I have more than literally 5 friends now, and I'm
And
very
do you
glad.
think you need big circles of friends? That's another thing, isn't it? That
Oh yeah,
some people want to fit into everybody,
I know.
and then they change who they
Yeah.
are. And I think it's really hard at that age because you want
Want
people
everybody
to like you.
Literally, that's just one thing you want
Do you
to
think
be
it's
in.
important that everybody likes you?
Well, I used to think that a lot when I actually did first start high school, but I think now that it's not that important. And I used to be very attached to friends as well. Like they have to like me. And if I have a fight with them, it's like, can we please make it up? Can we think? And I had actually a fight last year, in my class, and we had a big fight. And now that I have looked back, I don't need them. I have better friends than them, and they don't have to accept me for who I am. I am who I am, and it's okay.
Yeah.
Yes. Do we go to the next one?
So that was the first one.
Yeah.
Do you want me to do one?
Yeah, you do one.
Okay, so that was what we're doing is just sharing like kind of things we've learned from one another. So Maisha was just talking about her identity. I think for me, if I look back, I'm in a mum's group at the moment, and you see the difference between being a new mum and worrying about kind of if you're doing it right, if you're not doing it right. And I was on my own. It was really hard, and Maisha had a lot of health challenges. And I think the thing that I learned most is that there's not one way that fits. Even if you have 4 children in a family, each child needs something different. And I learned from Maisha more than anything, that you've got to be, as a parent, flexible in that. You might have an expectation. You think, oh, the baby's going to sleep, and you're gonna have family support or whatever it might be, then it wasn't like that. So the adaptability and watching Maisha with her health. I think I'm going into number 2, but watching Maisha with her health challenges, she's got a lot of sabr, and I sometimes think, gosh, I couldn't, like, if I had that, I don't think I'd be as patient or persevering as she is. And I always think that, subhanAllah, like, having that has helped me have a lot more compassion, helped me slow down. I used to be somebody who's kind of very goal orientated. I have to get this done, I have to get that done, and then Maisha comes along, and you can't do it like that, because this is a child that has different care needs. And when you can have that awareness as a parent that each child has a different need, it helps the family dynamics. And I was saying to you guys yesterday that as a family, one of the things we should do is champion one another for different qualities. And for example, with Hawa, she likes sciences and maths. Maisha's more into the social elements, helping people. She's creative. Yeah,
you have to support each other in their own way. Like my sister wants to, for example, go into the doctor's path. And me, I'm very social, so I don't want to go through. I might when I'm older, but at my age, I don't want to go college or university. And I know a lot of people think that you don't go college, you won't be clever, and you won't get the high grades. But really, like, it's like homeschooling. You learn from what you're doing.
You have to know that. I think as parents we have this idea that this is the route that we want for them. Yeah, and when we push children down that route, and that's not what they want, we end up making them. I mean, we hear stories all the time. Well, my son did an accountancy degree, or they did this, and now they're working in a warehouse or whatever it might be.
But maybe and again, they don't want to do that.
Yeah, I'm not saying that working in a warehouse is a less of a job. That's not what I'm going at. It's that parent expected that they'd go down that route and then do that, and we are constantly reiterating this to our children, that this is their expectation, and we're not listening to intuitively that child is not suited for that. And sometimes I know with you, like, if you see those, like for example with Hawa, if we see that it's easier for me to say if she wants to go down the the traditional route of she'd get GCSE, she'd get A levels, and she'd go on to university, and that would lead her to whatever it is that, you know, she wanted
but
to
me,
do.
I really don't
That
want to
route
do
might
that.
not be suited for
I
Maisha.
like baking, looking after little children, talking to
You were talking
people,
about social,
going out, stuff like
social,
that.
you know, helping people, listening to
Yeah.
people, and there's places in the world for all of that.
Just everything. There
But
is a
if we
job.
start to think that, and what we do is, as a society, we think that route, becoming a doctor, becoming, you know, like a profession of, and that label,
You'll
is
get lots
worthy.
of money from it.
Yeah.
You know, a lot of people, parents were like, you'll get the money, you'll get your house, and you'll get married.
Yeah.
That's what you need. A lot of people will think
and that's
that.
the goal of life. Like,
I
once
know.
you've got that, that's it. And that's
just
not.
keep working, you
once
have
you
your
get to
children,
that,
that's
people have
it.
crises because they get to that. They're married. They've had the job.
But
and then
you're
they're
just
stuck.
like, what do I do now? Because my mum's only taught me how to do those things.
Yeah, rather than teaching intrinsic values, like I have the ability to learn, I have the ability to understand that these are my needs, I have the ability to go towards what I'm inclined towards, that these are my strengths. Some people are, you know, I know so many people who are really good at DIY, as an example, or crafts, and it's not valued. It's like,
you know, they've gone to school, they've got an A for it, but they're not using their strengths.
Yeah,
properly.
they're going down what, you know, is socially seen as better. And I think part of the values in the home is to say, and something that I try to explain to them is that if I, as a parent, I don't want them to look back and say, well, my mum praised her for this, and
so I need to be that person.
That person to be praised for that, but you don't, because your qualities are different. So I could never praise you for the same things that I might notice in her, because you're two different people.
Yes.
And just having those conversations with your children so that they are aware that
you can't go through that path,
and
you
the
have
parent
to
is
just
doing the best.
believe in them. You know, whatever happens.
Yeah,
and
whatever you do, I trust that you guys will choose what you love, and that's most important. But the main thing is those qualities of not giving up, persevering, having that self.
You have to just go through it, literally. Even if you're older than me and you're starting to look for a job and you have one in mind, just go for it, literally. If something bad happens, you have your parents there, you have your family behind you, and tell them that you are going to go and that is going to happen. And you have to, say that I'm going to, for example, I'm going to, let me think of a job. I'm going to go through engineering, but you're a bit nervous to go through it, but just do it. You have your family behind you, and you just have
What's the worst that's going to happen?
I know.
They're so worried. Oh my gosh,
I'm not going to get it right.
I know.
And that's how I feel. I'm just like, I'm not going to get a high grade in my GCSEs, and then I'm not going to get the job that I want.
But if you keep thinking about the GCSE and not getting the grade, you're not concentrating on how to get the grade.
I know. I'm still in year 7. I don't actually need to
You don't need to think about that.
I know.
All you're doing right now is layers that lead you up to a GCSE.
Yeah, so anything that I struggle with, I will get a tutor.
Yeah, you just
Science, maths, I'm not the best at those. But what I do like is physical things, so music, not like drama, PE, art. I do like those a lot.
Hands-on things.
Yeah, a lot of people have different ways of learning
schools
as well.
don't always facilitate that. That's why the
they
homeschooling works for us as a family. Did work in the sense that you can, focus on those areas more, and not have to have where school has to measure the children by age. They get an hour. Like even now as we're doing it, the teachers are like, do it for an hour, don't do it more. So if there's a child that needs longer to comprehend,
we have to do it the
next
work, lesson.
And I guess why I can understand obviously from their perspective why they're doing that, because how else do you measure? You're looking at a linear line of measurement, but that doesn't work for everyone. It's not a measurement of intellect. I don't believe it's a measurement of intellect. If I need longer on something, does that mean I'm not as clever? Or could it mean that I like to absorb information a lot more, or I'm taking the information in differently? There's a lot of scope, but it's the teaching method, the way in which that's being taught doesn't suit my learning, the way that I like to learn. So there's all these considerations that we should be doing, but obviously the school doesn't have the capacity. The school system is a schooling system. It was made for, to have workers go into and that's what it was made for, and it's not really changed in all these years. It's kind of still the same structure, and it does produce, like for example, you go down that route, but then we're seeing at the end of that, people doing these degrees, they're spending so much money, a lot of effort, but not really going into that because that's not their passion. So they choose something just because it feels that.
Yeah, it will please their parents.
Yeah, and they think that that's almost like there's no other alternate. Like when I'm 18, what else do I do? If I get a job, am I a dropout?
Yeah.
And you find some of the most successful people in the world, they didn't do it that way. Sometimes they, you know, Steve Jobs. You could name so many people.
Yeah, there's one lady who I like interior design. Not fully. I don't know if I do it as a job, but I like it. And there's one lady who I watch on Netflix, and you know she just went for it, and she didn't do it to please her parents. She did it because she loved it. Her first job was actually doing her mum's kitchen, and it's there still today. And now she's like, she's got a whole warehouse, and she's got her own website, her own company, and just by doing it and going for it, she's accomplished that. But yeah, so you just have to go for it, you know, and tell your parents that I am going to do that, and let them support you in every way that they can.
Yeah, inshallah.
So
you do one more for you?
Yeah, and then
we'll wrap up. Yeah.
So I think I'm going to do number 2. So you taught me to believe in myself, because when I had very bad health issues, I still do, but when it was extra bad, you told me that, you know, just make dua, and to, you know, you just gotta believe in yourself. You know, I was very scared to have my bloods and to go in the bath, and I did go through a lot, and I missed so much school. Literally, I barely went to primary, and then I had to I went to year 6 and then didn't go again.
Yeah, but of lockdown.
I got locked down, but
not just you, though. The whole world got locked down.
But you know, it's
we all got locked down.
I know, but we have to. You know, whatever you're going through, you have to know that.
What does it mean if you were telling, you know, people, what does it mean to believe in yourself? Like, what is that?
Knowing that you can do it.
Yes. How would somebody do that if they're scared? If they think, no, I can't do it. Like, I can't draw. I can't do maths. What would you say to them? If somebody came to you and said, I can't do it.
Listen to yourself. Listen to how you're saying that to yourself, like, you know, you can't do these things. And what my mum taught me as well is that once you said something over and over again, your brain gets used to it. And
that's your reality.
It's that, you know.
It's the truth.
For example, if you start to say you're too fat, you're ugly, your brain will start to think she is. And then you will start to look social media, the word comes in.
Look for all the evidence.
You know, be like, you get it from Instagram, you get it from all these things. You be like, she's nice and I'm not. She's nice and I'm not. He's nice, you know, he's fit, he's like that. She's like this. And then, you know, your brain will start to think like, yeah, I am like that. And
do you know, we were doing Surah Nas today, how I was doing it. And it was talking about the waswasa. So I asked her, like, what does waswasa mean? I'd probably even saying it wrong, to be honest. Waswasa. What does waswasa sound like?
It's whispering.
Whispering, yeah. That's exactly what I did with how I went. Oh, it's whispering. So yeah. So we, you know, in Surah Nas we talk about the whisper, and I was saying that, you know, so how we can't see shaitan. So how do we know that there's been that whisper? And I said to her that one of the ways we know is by knowing.
We've done it.
The Quran and knowing what's the correct information, but also having negative thoughts was one of the things we talked about. And so this idea that if you monitor those thoughts, then you can see that actually, you know, we're not supposed to be people who have, as Muslims particularly, and generally I think as human beings, this idea of I'm not good enough, I can't do anything. This is from shaitan, you know. We're supposed to be people who have faith in Allah. We believe that Allah can get us to do anything.
Yeah, if you make dua, for example, my skin's got bad very recently, and I've been making dua, and, you know, it still hasn't got better, but that doesn't mean that I stop making dua. You can't, you know, you do. You go to Allah, but you don't depend on Him that He's going to do it straight away. You have to keep saying it, and you have to do
like a genie in a bottle. That's what I was kind of trying to say. Allah is not there to kind of...
do it straight away, yeah.
You know, that's not the purpose of dua. And for us to say, oh, well, I made dua and he didn't answer. It's like
to.
we've reversed roles almost.
You have to slowly, and for example, I can't go to Allah and then say, "Oh Allah, please heal my eczema," and then
if he doesn't, and then you're like questioning.
Yeah, like why has he not done it yet? Or it's been like 3 months now, but I have to find.
What's the purpose of dua then? Like if it, how would you say to somebody who's making lots of dua for a long time? And then people get sad and think I've been making dua. I get that a lot with a lot of people that I work with.
You have to just keep going, and you can't depend on Allah. You have to try to fix that situation yourself as well. For example, me, I love sweet things, like a lot of sweet things, and that will affect my eczema. So I will have to start having lots of water to start to have more healthier things, and I can't just
responsibility.
You can't just go to Allah and say, heal my eczema, and that's it.
And then you just sit there and
you
eat
just
sweets.
wait, and you just there like, when's it gonna happen? It's like magic where my skin's just gone now.
Because the purpose of dua is making dua is the end goal. We think that the end goal is the answering, and the fact that we've made dua, we know that there's 3 outcomes. Either Allah will give us it in this dunya, He'll delay something bad happening, or we'll get something better in Jannah. So our duas have been answered. But it's this idea that we have to conclude it to mean, I've asked for this.
It has to happen.
As if we know what's best for us.
Yeah.
But we don't.
Like if Allah healed you, something bad couldn't happen. Like Allah might have healed your eczema, but then you could have got another disease or another thing. Yeah. He's just waiting for the right time for it to happen, and that's why I am going to wait till it happens. I'm going to try my best to drink my water. But you have to believe that it can happen, and if Allah doesn't do it, it's for the best.
Self-responsibility, what Maisha touched on, is such a paramount part of, we sometimes, instead of looking within and saying, what within myself do I need to change, it's easier just to say, well, I made dua and it's not happening.
But you have to believe that it
can.
But
you've got to tie your camel, you've got to do something, you've got to take those steps, you've got to take those decisions, you've got to do those actions that need doing.
And it's not just about having bad health issues like me. It's about everything. You could have lost somebody in your life. Corona's happened. It's been here for a whole year.
It's sad.
It's a big thing now, and people are not going to take it as a big thing anymore. But if somebody has you've lost somebody in your life, you have to believe that Allah, you have to ask Allah, give them Jannah, and protect me and my other family members, and keep making dua. And when you're going shopping, wear your face mask, put hand sanitizer on, and you can't just depend on Allah that He's going to do that. He cannot make Corona is a big test. It's a test now, because
we're always asking, this is a real lesson in this. We're always asking for the cure, for the kind of take this away.
Yeah.
But what we should be asking is Allah the strength that we need in order to be able to handle that test.
Yeah, I'm always asking.
Big shift.
I'm always asking, oh Allah, please, let my eczema go away. Yeah. Let it get better. That's the 2 things that I say most.
But also that just enable me to be healthy, enable to make good choices. Those are things that will change us. That's what makes us stronger. Evolved, and those tests are then something beneficial for us. And the fact that we made dua, if Allah had not put you in that position, there might be people out there who, because their lives are so good, they don't ask Allah, and they have that connection with Allah.
You might have loads and loads of money.
That's the reward. Your health, the connection with Allah is actually greater. And I'm not saying health isn't important, but you've got to see it that way, that I was able to connect with Allah because of that pain, and for so many years, I was able to call out to Allah, and on the Day of Judgment, you'll see that. I had that faith.
You had that connection with Allah. You know that He is there. You know that the angels are there. The Prophet Muhammad ﷺ is there, and anything can happen. And everything is for the best as well. So if somebody has gone from your
really well.
If someone has gone from your family due to Corona, or anything really, if something bad has happened, it's for a reason. Because, for example, if we don't find a parking space going into Trafford Centre, but maybe that's the best. Maybe if that we could have been robbed in that parking space. Anything could happen. You have to think like that as well. Anything.
It's a really good tool for resilience.
Yeah, this could have happened, that could have happened, but it might feel scary to think what could have happened. But you have to now, because it's for the best. And
think we should wrap up?
Yes.
My phone charge is going.
Yes. Okay.
Okay.
So, thank you for all listening and coming on the live. Inshallah, I'll be doing a video again about mindfulness and journaling, because it can help a lot of people in different ways. But that'll be later, so but Jazakallah khair for coming on. Stay safe, guys. Wear your masks and make dua. You have to take the action. And Assalamu alaikum.